I'm making this video because the other day at the bar we were talking about making pizza, and it was a little bit tricky explaining stuff and having a discussion in a noisy bar with loud music and across two other guys. So I thought I'd do this, and you can get what ideas you can from it, and maybe it'll answer some questions, and maybe it might improve your pizza, or not. At any rate, start off with the dough. I get my dough from Piantadosi in Malden. I go up there so I can buy a case of frozen dough. The reason I like frozen dough is I like to be able to control the state of the dough when I'm going to make it. I mean, I have no idea how long it's been sitting on the supermarket shelf or any place else it's been, and it's usually fine, but the yeast is reacting throughout the entire time, and I don't want to get it after the yeast is all eaten up all the sugar and is kind of dead, or before it's had any chance. I'd like to be able to control that. So if I get the dough frozen, then it's always the same every pizza I make. What I do is I take, and if you don't get your dough frozen, if you have to get it thawed, which is often the case, then just kind of skip this step. But what I do with the frozen dough is I want to let it thaw for 24 hours. So I take it out of the freezer and put it into the fridge the night before I'm going to make a pizza. Now, originally I used to just take the bag out and just put the bag in the fridge, and that's fine. The problem is that with high gluten doughs, and especially the Piantadosi dough, they're very elasticy and they have memory. I learned this, from a pizza forum. They explained this to me. It has memory, and it doesn't like to change to a nice round pizza like I like to make it. It wants to keep the shape of the squarish bag, and so I would often get pizzas shaped like rhombuses or trapezoids. Don't know the difference between those two. So what I do is I get a round container. This was actually a takeout container from Tinker's Son in Norwalk, if you take your food home, and this is great. And what I do is I just take some spray oil, spray the inside of it, put the dough in that, cover it, and then it goes into the fridge till tomorrow at around, I don't know, 2 o'clock in the afternoon is when I take it out and put it on the counter. So, more on that then. Okay, this dough is pretty much just the way I like it. I took it out about 4.5 hours ago, and it has risen a lot, so it's actually pushing on the top a little bit. It is exactly what I want. On colder days, I'll take it out 4 to 5 hours ahead of time. Once we get to summer and we have warmer days, taking it out, 3 hours ahead of time should be close enough. I have this bin of flour that I use for dredging. So I just loosen up the dough. I definitely like to try to keep it in its round state. Dump it into the flour. And then just get it all floured up. While that's there, that doesn't have to sit or anything, but I did want to show you something else. One of the problems that you have, this is a pizza peel, by the way. This is what I was telling you about, the wooden paddle that you put the pizza on that, you slide it onto the stone with using this. But one problem that everybody has is that the dough wants to stick to the wood. You can't just make the pizza there and just have it slide right off. Some people put flour down, some people put cornmeal down. I always have problems because you kind of have to shake it to keep it from sticking, and I just haven't had a lot of luck. And somebody turned me on to this trick. I get parchment paper. Now this is a 16-inch peel because I make a 16-inch pizza. If you make a smaller pizza, then you might not need anything this big. But I get 15-inch parchment paper, and I take out a piece that's at least as long as it is wide. Then I'm going to make a little paper airplane. Fold it in half. Fold it in half again. And again. And one more time. And you don't even have to crease it very much here, but we want to get it to about there. And then just cut off all the excess so that you've got that. Now you open it up and you get yourself a circle, pretty much. Who knew I could do origami? It's a bird that got run over by a truck. So that's just going to sit on top of the pizza peel, and I'm going to put my pizza on top of that once it's ready. Okay, back to the dough. Once I've got it all covered with flour, I like to keep it in the round shape. And then I just start flattening it out. Now when I first started making pizzas, I used to use a rolling pin. I just roll it out, it was very easy. But the problem that I had was that it just seemed like the dough was just too hard and dense. I just didn't like the way it tasted. So someone clued me in on this, doing it like this. Once you have it about that big, you can just start stretching. Just hold on to the end and just kind of let it slide through your fingers so it's stretching out. I actually do throw it from time to time, and that does a great job. It's not just showing off, it does a great job of stretching it out. Once you get that out a little bit, you can just kind of put it over the ends of your knuckles and just try to pull it a little bit to get it out. You definitely want to get this considerably bigger than your pizza. So this is way bigger than 16 inches at this point, but I know that it's going to be elasticy. I know it's just going to want to shrink itself back in like that. So I keep stretching it till I get a good size, I don't know, like maybe 20 inches or so. And I know that's big enough that it will stay on the peel. Okay. I sometimes have to pop some bubbles that form in there because I know that once I bake this, they'll turn into really, really big bubbles. Okay, that's really the only thing that I have to show you. That's stuff that I think you should know. You know, at this point, you just put your sauce and your cheese on and whatever you want, and I don't know how to make it any better than anybody else. That's completely up to you where you want to get your sauce. I use Red Pack pizza sauce. Let me get my special tool. A lot of people use different things, spoons, all kinds of stuff to get it. I have this cake frosting knife that I tried, and this works well for me. You know, everybody's got their own method. I like how this works. For cheese, I use a mixture of sharp cheddar cheese. Use the best cheese that you can find. Use cheese that you like. Don't scrimp. Don't get the store brand cheese just because it's cheap. Get something you like. I personally like Cabot sharp cheese. I think it's pretty good. But, you know, whatever works for you. The better the cheese. I mean, this is critical because this is the primary flavor of the pizza, is the cheese. I use that, and I also add some whole milk mozzarella. just take some slices off of that. And I just break it into pieces onto the pizza. Tonight's pizza, we're going to have a fungi pizza. I had some funguses left over from last week's pizza, so I just sliced them up. I'm going to throw them on. That should be enough. Okay, I believe we're ready to go. Okay, the oven's been heated up to 550 degrees. The stone has been heating up for about an hour now, so it should be hot through and through. Okay, now the trick is to get the back end of the pizza to the back end of the stone and then pull it off. With that parchment paper, it makes it very easy. I'm going to set the timer to 7 minutes because that works for me. And it's ready. Paper. Okay, just one more thing we need. We're ready for dinner.